How's it going, Habibis? I got the one and only Matchy here with me today. He has done so much for the Dark Magician community, and I'm really excited to have this conversation with him. We're going to hopefully talk about a lot of cool stuff. Matchy, how's it going, man?
Good, man. Thank you for having me, Marty, man. I love your content. Absolutely the Master Duel GOAT. The stuff you've innovated and pushed with DM as far as Master Duel goes is truly inspirational. And
thank you.
Your pull and your reach within the community is pretty remarkable, to say the least.
Thanks, man. Yeah, no, to be honest with you, it's funny. I've had people say that, you're my TCG counterpart. You're the TCG guy, man. You really know your stuff. It's really impressive. I think the first time I ever saw your video was somebody, because it was a couple years ago. I think that's when you first started posting videos, right? Maybe 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Somebody was like,
just before 2 years ago, but yeah.
Okay. So somebody was saying that, hey, there's this other guy that's playing 1DM, because I was really into playing 1DM. And I was like, really? So then I watched some of your videos and I was like, oh my, this guy, he knows his stuff, And it's amazing the way you could tell when somebody knows what they're talking about. And I think you do a really good job in your videos of articulating your positions and advocating for ratios or advocating for play styles better than anyone else. So, credit to you for that, man.
I appreciate that. Honestly, it's something that I think I pride myself for. It was more along the lines of I was getting frustrated. The reason why I started making content in general was because I was getting really frustrated with what was out there in terms of explanation and in-depth analysis per se. The idea that there's way too many deck profiles, not even just DM, I'm talking about Yu-Gi-Oh in general, because Yu-Gi-Oh content creation I think is really lackluster. It's very lazy. This is my deck, I play this, and if you don't play this, you're wrong. And I didn't really want to do that, so I was getting really annoyed, and I was saying, okay, I think I could use this platform to start discussions. And to be fair, at first, not many people were fans of, especially 1DM. And I'm sure you...
Oh, yeah, I know it. I know it.
Yeah, play 1DM and people will rip you apart. What if it gets managed by a Bistio? What if it gets that? What if it gets that?
That's so funny. I've heard that so many times.
Yeah, ignoring the idea that it's literally the worst card in the deck. But, and I think important conversations, it started important conversations that I think really swayed a lot of the player base, if that makes sense. And it really pushed for more innovative design in terms of deck building and stuff like that. So I think it was for the best. And yeah, you could attest to it too. You've innovated so many different variations of DM on Master Duel, and for better or for worse.
Yeah, I was just about to say that for better or for worse, it's a blessing and a curse to innovate, because something else that I think you heavily relate to me on, and I was literally sitting with my wife one time and I read your comment and I started busting out laughing. Something you relate to me on a lot is people constantly telling you this isn't a Dark Magician deck. And then I read your comment on a Discord channel. You're like, this is going to be on my tombstone or something.
It is, man. It is. It's forever attached. I think it's forever attached to I think that one line is the common piece of separation between. I don't want to say it like this.
I understand what you're competitive and more for fun.
Yeah. Competitive and a casual mindset.
Casual, yeah.
That one piece of dialogue that really separates the two groups of player bases. It's not a bad thing.
No, not at all. I like to play casual too. I like to play my Bonds package and 2 Dark Magician girls, 3 Salvations. Sure, but is it really going to compete? Probably exactly. Not. That's it would be amiss if I don't talk about the new support, and we're definitely going to get into that. But I wanted to ask you on that same topic, what makes a Dark Magician deck a Dark Magician deck? Because I've seen some of your Runic lists, and I hate to admit it because I hate Runic, but objectively speaking, it is kind of like one of the best variations of playing it, if not the best currently before the new support. So like, what makes a DM deck a DM deck? What would you say to people that are just hell bent on, you know, Circle, Eternal Soul, DM, Skill Dark Magician? Yeah, like it's got to be a certain way, pure nothing.
For me, I think this isn't a black and white question, because I get asked this all the time, by the way, and I always have a very similar response. It's not a black and white question. There's a massive gray scale. So one thing that I kept relating to is specifically when Primite came out. This is where I really like honed in on this idea, and it's like, do we play Magician's Rod because we like Magician's Rod, or do we play Magician's Rod because it allows us to facilitate Dark Magician to do what Dark Magician wants to do? In the context of, if your strategy wants to be Dark Magician, being revived off Eternal Soul and banishing off Circle, what is the difference between Primite Lordy Load summoning Dark Magician and Drill Beam utilizing Drill Beam as a banish? The cards do inherently the exact same thing. They trade one for one. They are one piece of interaction versus one piece of interaction. One is incredibly more consistent and easier to set up. And it brings me back to the point of, if these cards were blank, which one would you play? If there was no picture on the card, which one would you play? So with Runic, for example, is I feel like what people do is, specifically now, which is kind of a little bit frustrating, is that modern versions of Dark Magician and modern builds that I see focus on Dragoon, and because Dragoon is inherently like the best boss monster,
right?
But I feel like there's a pretty large discrepancy when it comes to evaluating the other Dark Magician fusion monsters and end board pieces. So I know post DMod, Master of Chaos becomes, without a shadow of a doubt, the best extra deck monster we have. And
most usable, yeah.
On the same plane. To your point when you brought up Runic, I was utilizing and trying to maximize the value off a card like the Dark Magicians. So I know I'm kind of straying away from the original question, but I promise I'll make it.
No. You're good. You're good.
So when people build what is considered a Dark Magician deck, they end on Red Eyes Dark Dragoon, and that is what a Dark Magician deck is. I might be able to only play 7 Dark Magician main deck cards, but if my end board is multiple copies of the Dark Magicians, the Chain Block Fountain, and utilizing spell cards as those substitute interruptions for a Circle, for Eternal Soul, for Red Eyes Dark Dragoon negates, and utilizing the Dark Magicians to generate my advantage and generate a win condition that way, I think that's a version of Dark Magician. It's just not your traditional sense of Dark Magician.
Yeah.
And to translate and to finally wrap it up is, for players who think the contrary, is for players who are playing, I'm playing pure Snake Eyes. If the pure Snake Eyes end board doesn't have a single Snake Eyes monster on it, are you playing Snake Eyes, or are you just utilizing the main deck engine to create a generic end board with Appaloosa, Baron, etc., IP? Whereas in Dark Magician, I might not play the most main deck Dark Magician cards, but my end board is a Dark Magician end board, whether you like it or not.
Yeah. I mean, you took the words right out of my mouth. I couldn't agree more. I always say the same thing. I say most top tier decks are utilizing their engine, whatever it may be, to pump out generic boss monsters. Especially last year, now we've, seen hits to Appaloosa, even in Master Duel. I know Baron's gone in the TCG, but typically, I mean, you're seeing just these really good decks, but they're not ending on, a Snake Eyes end board. It's ending on Borload, Baron, Appaloosa, that kind of thing. I think, unfortunately, there's this group of people in the DM community that are very dead set on Dark Magician being like Yugi used to play it, even though Yugi used to play, a mix of random cards, but they don't want to associate anything outside of the archetype with the deck. And anytime you see like Diabell Star or Primite seeing utilization, they think, okay, well, that's straying too far. I want to win with my 3 skilled Dark Magicians. And I'm just like, all right, I totally agree with you, and something to piggyback off your runic example. The Dark Magicians is a very underutilized. I don't use it that much. I never really. It's hard to really get the most out of that card, and I think the best way to get the most out of it is with the runic stuff, like you said, chain blocking, generating advantage off all the spells you activate. It's a really good strategy, and it's a unique one. And I think people are just it's untraditional, so
it's really untraditional. It's even another problem is I don't want to. This is going to sound like a very cocky attitude and a mindset, but it's also the idea that when players look and envision this list, and a lot of these variations of DM, I think you could attest to this as well with some of your 60 card lists and things like that on Master Duel, is that these lists are not easy to pilot. So when people see the Dark Magicians as an end board piece with Runic Fountain, it's easy to assume, oh, the Dark Magicians just chain blocks Fountain. But in the same vein, what they don't see is the utilization of, for example, you don't have access to Fountain, but you have a Runic spell. You can go Dark Magician Circle, right? To see the top cards of your deck. Say it's a Runic spell. You can put to the top of the deck and utilize the Dark Magicians as a pseudo Runic Fountain, in the sense that on your opponent's turn, you activate a Runic spell, then you draw into the second Runic spell, and you can set it and use it again as a follow-up interruption.
Right.
And it's those minor details that really separate a list from being very much accepted by the community versus hated by the community. It's a pretty drastic skill difference, I think. But yeah, I think, like you said, you nailed it.
I think something else that you probably see a lot is, and I could probably I've never played the Runic DM list, but I'm certain you're probably going to agree with this. It's not a streamlined combo deck. I get all the time, especially with the 60 card deck, people are always asking, let me get a combo list, let me get a combo guide, all these things. And it's like, there's not really specific 2 card combos always with the deck, or 1 card combos. And I feel like it's the same with the Runic deck. You kind of have to be a pilot, and you have to, I like decks like that have a lot of skill expression. It kind of is, you get 5 cards in your hand and you do something different every single time. Whereas, I play dinos a lot as well. I'll be honest with you, Misk and Ovi and Baby, Arch and Baby, I'm doing the same exact thing each and every time. It's not like that for these types of decks, and I personally enjoy that.
I do too. Even when I first came up through the YouTube scene, I don't even know if you call it a come up, but when my first introduction to the YouTube scene was via Branded, and Branded DM was very much like that, because I never played Alubers or Branded Openings or anything to search Branded Fusion. A lot of those hands and those lines of play were, like you said, vibes. I opened these 5 cards, and these 5 cards are going to get me to my desired end board, but I gotta be creative, I gotta be innovative, and I really there's also some luck involved, right?
Yeah.
And I think people don't, it's a card game at the end of the day, right?
100%. You got to believe in the heart of the cards. And, whether you call it that or you call it luck, I'm all for it. This is the last thing I'll say on this. I am really against the 1 card combo. I feel like it's nice to have like maybe 1 card in a deck that is like a heart of the cards. You top deck it and you're like, wow, I can do something with this 1 card. But I feel like it's when you remove variability from a card game, and like you call it's like pseudo variability. Like, is Tearlaments at full power? Is it really a gambling deck? Realistically, it's not. With all the shufflers and all the millers, it's not really a gamble. I mean, there's a 99% chance that they're going to hit, whatever, Havness, Murley. It's inevitable. So I feel like unfortunately, it's getting less and less with these top tier decks that there is less luck involved. But I do like that aspect of DM, that it still has a you can have a heart of the cards moment. You know, I like that.
It's very important you bring that up because I agree to most of it. Like the tier limits example, yes, like that deck was just so unbelievably overpowered because it was insanely hyper consistent. I have issues with one card combos, but not in the traditional sense. My issue with like for example, Snake Eyes Ash doing so much with one card is a problem. However, there are silver bullets to deal with it. My issue with one card combos is the example of I know you guys in Master Duel it's raging havoc over Master Duel right now. Over the TCG, it's killed us. But something like Habakuri,
Yeah.
you throw your life savings into stopping Yummy. You throw your life savings into stopping Ryzeal. You throw your life savings into stopping Deck X, whatever.
Right.
One card in hand, and that thing's a Habakuri. And that one Habakuri doesn't lock itself into anything. It's one card that does so much by itself. And it's those one card combos that are a colossal problem in the game, in my opinion. But yeah,
you stop one engine and then the other one gets you.
That's where the issue is. It's one card combos that require zero investment to make, right? So, I agree. I don't hate the idea of kind of shifting away from one card combos in general.
I think Konami recognizes that it's a problem, and I think we're going in a step in the right direction. You know more about Yummy, and I'll ask you more about that later with it. But I feel like Yummy seems a little bit more fair, you know, just from what I've seen from it compared to what I saw from Malice recently, and then like you said, you know, Ryzeal Mitsurugi. I hope we're going a step in the right direction. But with that said, you know, we can now talk about it. We got a new card today. This is pretty monumental, I would say. Would you say that? Well, what are your thoughts on the card? What are your thoughts on the card? I just want to ask your initial reaction. I saw your video.
Yeah, thank you for watching it. I'll say this: when this thing got announced, I'm a very active member in the DM Discord.
Right.
This Discord, I've never seen this Discord like this since they were complaining about DMod. Because when DMod came out, there was so many.
I know.
But the 180 flip reaction to this card and the hype this card generated was immense.
Yep.
And I'll put hand on my chest, hand on my heart. I'll say, I told everyone, I'm like, yo, let's lower expectations because we've been burned.
Yeah.
Chill out.
Yeah.
When this card came out, dude, my head started spinning, and I love this card.
I do too. I mean, just look at the way everyone I talk to about it seems so giddy. I mean, look at that. So I'm smiling big. Yeah. I really am excited about it.
Like I was, you know, I know you were too, but I think there were a very few handful of people that were really excited about DMod, and they really saw the potential immediately off of DMod. I think this is one card that's collectively accepted amongst the community. Yeah. And what I will say, though, however, is I think people are accepting it for the wrong reasons. Yeah. So I think this card is unbelievable in the sense that it can do so much for the deck. It can be treated like a Diabellstar. It can be treated like a Shining Sarcophagus Dark Magician Girl. It can do all those things very similarly to those counterparts. My thing is that we should be viewing this as a card that isn't necessarily supposed to be created to generate the craziest ceiling or the craziest combo by itself. I said this in my video, and I'll stand by it. This card is created to create the grossest floor for Dark Magician we've ever seen. Yeah, I heard you say that in the video, and I was like, that makes I didn't word it like that, but that makes perfect sense. It's like if this is our bare minimum, then that's amazing. It's insane, and I think that's where the strength of this card comes from. Everything that you can do afterwards is a bonus, and if you want to compare it to Bellstar, Shining Sarcophagus, Dark Magician Girl, do that. Do it afterwards. But I think the primary focus of this card is to create this absurdly high floor for no investment.
Yeah.
It's insane. And to lose to any hand traps, it's genuine. Like, I am shocked they gave us something like this.
It's busted. I mean, I think we could, for the first time ever, say we have a busted card, main deck, Dark Magician card. We were just talking about, DM and pure DM. I mean, there's a question I'll ask you later. I mean, you can answer now if you want, but has pure DM ever been more viable than it is now? I really think you could make a case to play a pure DM now more than ever. And I saw in your video you had a DM triangle. I was like, what is going on? Summoning Dragon Knight? This is amazing.
So when I approach any card, especially Dark Magician, when I see a new Dark Magician card, my first instinct is to make it work in pure. And the reason for this, it's so I'm a graphic design major, and something that I learned throughout university is if you can make this work in black and white, it will work in color. So I use that theory in the application.
Yeah, I like that.
With every single piece of Dark Magician support. If I can make it work in pure, it's going to work with everything else. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, that makes perfect sense. Yeah.
And so when I saw this card, immediately there's a bunch of pure applications that come with it, and it not like it's just there's so many layers to this card that I haven't even explored yet.
Oh yeah.
And that video I put together 3 combos with very limited research. It was just a lot of theory and a few test sessions that you come up with 3 or 4 good combos, and I decided to use those in a video just to showcase. But that's just the bare minimum.
Mm-hmm.
It's.
Oh no, go ahead, finish up.
No, go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say, I think the sign of a good card, of a broken card, is ease of use. And I looked at this card and I was like, I'm sure there's deep and complicated combos and routes that we can use this card that I haven't figured out, and I'm sure someone's going to figure out. But there's very obvious uses of it that are busted in and of itself. And I think the fact that we have something that's so easy to use is proof that it's great support. And I was saying this when I reacted initially. I read the first 2 effects because I'm a big advocate for, I like Magician Souls at 3. I like the extra bodies, especially since, I play Master Duel. We need Verte, bodies for Verte. If you're playing Fiendsmith DM, you need bodies for Closed Moon. So it's better to get the bodies on the field, and DM really stars for that because you just have your normal summon, and then you got Magician Souls, and you're probably not going to play a Apprentice Illusion Magician for a special summon. So like the fact that it was a special summon, I was like, the fact that it's like Magician Souls, Magician's Rod, and Dark Magic Attack wrapped into one, even if you took away that last effect to pop the back row, I would still think it's a 3 of in the deck. I would still think it's just a crazy card.
It's already a crazy card, and they just decided to throw a quick effect Harpy's Feather.
I know, man. It's busted. I love it.
The card would be incredible without that effect, and the fact they have that effect on it is just even better. Because the cool thing about this now is it's a starter, it's an extender, and it's an end board piece.
Isn't that crazy?
All in one card.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how you want to utilize it. It's all 3 in one card, and it's fantastic.
Yep. I'm really excited for it, man. I think the community deserves it. We really worked hard for this one because we had to go through a lot to get to it. But hey, that's anytime you have something that could be utilized in pure and it brings more viability to the pure deck, I think that's gonna help our case a lot when we're telling people that this is a DM deck now. So I'm really happy about it.
I'm going to circle back to when you were talking about how you thought pure was going to be viable. I kid you not. So I'm planning to go a few regionals, and so right now I am on a TCG semi-hiatus. I'm really focusing on content, making my quality better and all that stuff. So I'm not really going locals as much as I'd like to, despite me constantly testing and things like that. So I'm a little bit of a TCG hiatus until February of next year.
Right.
And the thought is I was prepping for all these regionals and potentially a YCS or 2 in the near future. And I was thinking about, okay, what's the best way to play this deck? And I was thinking, for a lot of it, I was going to take pure. Initially, I was going to take pure, and
Really?
then it transferred in. Yeah, it was because there was nothing else to really go off of. Primite, I really didn't like Primite. I don't really like what Primite offers into. I know you mentioned that we might talk about in later on into what the current format is. I don't like Primite into Yummy. I don't like Primite into Draco Tail. And so I was like, all right, what do we like? What we're just gonna vibe here, I guess. And then DMod comes out, and you start thinking about all of these interesting applications. You know, I'm thinking about Azamina. I'm thinking about Yummy. Yummy DM looks crazy right now, and all these really interesting applications that I want to take with me. And it's funny because now that this card comes out, and it's like, oh,
Changes. Yeah.
you can play Pure relatively viably at a decently high level now.
Yeah. Is there more of a chance that, you're going to see more competitive play with Dark Magician, not only overall in 2026, but I guess that's my first question. But then also, if you want to also say, do you think you're more likely to play pieces like Dark Magical Circle and maybe Eternal Soul now that it could revive this back and, you can get a more consistent DM triangle?
I'll do you one better. I was thinking about playing cards like Dark Magic Amulet.
Oh, wow.
So I was thinking of playing cards like Dark Magic Amulet. I'm thinking about playing cards like the Triangle, Dark Magic Amulet. The Bonds package, I think, has unbelievable value now, even if you don't resolve Dark Burning Magic. But I was thinking about playing Bonds, but with the other targets as well.
Like dark burning attack, like Dark Magician Girls thing, dark magic attack.
Yeah, then those kind of cards.
I mean, if you're playing Dark Magic Attack, Eternal Soul could search for it.
Yeah, it's there's options, right?
Yeah.
And I think there's so much to be explored from a pure standpoint. And to your question, do we think that we're going to see a lot more competitive players picking up Dark Magician? I think that will be strictly based off the back of results. If the deck gets results, we'll see playing competitive play. And if it doesn't see results, I think it will see much of what a Blue Eyes trajectory was, where it saw a large boost. You saw some competitive success, and it quickly got phased out.
Yeah. I was disappointed about that, but yeah.
Yeah, it's not really good. Like, if that happens, it's not going to stop players like myself. It's not going to stop players like you, like Loza, like other Dark Magician content creators, and
of course, yeah, innovative. So obviously we've had a long wait for the other support. Not talking about Dark Magician, the Pharaoh's Servant right now, but the other support, DMod, Gaze. It's still not coming. It still hasn't came out as of the time of this recording, but it's coming out in late February of next year. So with the format of Yu-Gi-Oh! TCG just shifting naturally, what do you think, as somebody that's more familiar with it, what do you think our matchup is going to be looking like with that new support versus a K9, a Vanquished Souls, a Draco Tail, that kind of thing?
So I'll tell you this much. I think if these cards came out right now, we would have a decent matchup into all three decks.
Okay.
Depending on what variant of DMod you're playing. I'm going to talk about from the Azamina DMod perspective, because that's what I've been testing a lot of hours with. It's what my favorite variation of DMod is. I think Azamina DMod has an insane matchup into Vanquished Soul and K9. And the reason for it is we get to play a card like Dominant Symbols, which I think is fantastic.
Yeah.
Into Yummy, I think we might have a more difficult matchup because of how recursive Yummy is as an engine, and how many, like, at the end of the day, what we're setting up with Azamina DM is multiple negates off Dragoon, Sylvia, maybe a Secret Village. And Yummy can play through those relatively comfortably. The cool thing about dealing with Yummy is if you keep them off the field spell, you're relatively okay. And Magi Dragon can't be outed in the Yummy matchup, which I think is pretty decent. So we do have a lifeline there. Draco Tail is the most difficult question to answer when it comes to how we're going to pilot the new support into. I think Draco Tail just is a little too strong, a little more too recursive. They have all the silver bullets to deal with our end board in terms of chain blocking, ways to bait Dragoon's Negate, chain blocking ways so that Dragoon's Negate doesn't have any value, can freely negate things on our board. For example, whether it's a deception, whether it's, whatever the case is, demod, Dragoon itself, or whatever the case is. So I think, Draco Tail is a little bit of a difficult matchup. I will say this though, that's if the cards come out right now. I know I'm yapping.
No. I'm interested to hear what you have to say, because I wish the cards came out today, but obviously they don't. So you need to look to the future. I think if they were in Master Duel right now, I think DM would be, literally a top tier deck if they were in today, but that's not the case.
And so to back off that, to add on to that point, it's all going to be depending on the ban list. There have been players who have been begging to claim the head of Herald of the Arclight. So there have been players begging to limit Arthalion to 2 to kill the grinding of Draco Tail, find mana to 1 so that they don't have a quick effect fuse on your turn. Ban Havoc Curie, whatever the case is, all these different bans and limitations. What I will say though is that there's only one deck that really scares me in the future. And if that happens, what it will mean is that a ban list will come and it would make all the other decks worse, which inherently makes Dark Magician better, if that makes sense. So I think all things considered, will be if the cards come out in February and we do see a ban list, we'll be in a better position then than hypothetically we were now.
Did you say there's one deck that scares you?
Yes, there's one deck that scares me. Let me bring it up. I'm sorry, this is a little unprofessional. I should have.
No, you're good.
But this deck genuinely terrifies me, and it's I can't even say this. The Eni Craft deck.
The what deck? I've never heard of that.
Yeah, it's a new pendulum archetype.
Whoa, okay, I didn't know that. Okay.
None of their effects are they don't care about any sort of negation interruptions, because they could just do their stuff all over again. It's genuinely a terrifying deck. I'm hopeful in the fact that I think the community is going to find silver bullets that kill this deck outright, similar to what we had with Malice and Lancia, where it's like if you hard open the Lancia, you're chilling. And I think there's going to be something like that to counter this list, to counter this deck. I'm hopeful for it. But that's the one deck I'm kind of concerned about. But for the most part, I do think that we are going to be pretty well positioned in the future.
Yeah, I mean, I learned something about this deck. I'll look it up after this, but that's good to know that we have decent matchups against these decks. From a Master Duel perspective, at least, we have good matchups against decks that haven't released yet, because I know a lot of Master Duel players are kind of nervous how it's going to be versus K9 and all these things. I did want to ask you, so we'll transition to, you said Azamine is your favorite way to play DM currently, or you think it's the most competitive way to play DM currently. What other, so you're not a big fan of Primite, you said, if you want to elaborate on that. And what else do you think about, Shining Sark and other engines?
So are these in the context of demon, like post-demon support?
Post-demod support, yes.
All right.
Yeah, post-demod.
Post-demon support. So the problem with Primite, I'll start with Primite because it's the one I'm kind of the most anti-against. The problem with Primite for me is the interactions Primite offer. The cool thing about Primite is that its floor is really high. It establishes a really high floor for very little. It sets up Drill Beam, Lordy Load. It can set up a Hermetic Seals. It could even set up Demod in engine, right?
Right.
The problem with Primite is the forms of interaction. A Drill Beam targets, and nothing in the game right now cares about targeting. The another problem with Primite specifically is that Primite's issue is that it can only interact with things on the field. In this case, Drill Beam. However, Draco Tail, most of their interactions are in the graveyard. Yummy, most of their interactions can dodge a card like a Drill Beam. Vanquish Soul, all their interactions are in the hand. And it's those kind of interactions that really counter what Primite wants to do. And I think that's why it really, really struggles, especially right now. I think by far and away the best version to play Dark Magician post Demon is Yummy. And why is because Yummy is so unbelievably strong as it is. And the idea that Yummy can bridge into Dark Magician through the likes of getting Herald off the field, Herald searching Illusion of Chaos, and you go into Dark Magician Destruction that way. But also Dark Magician can bridge into Yummy. And because of how strong and oppressive the Yummy engine is on its own, the fact that we can just bridge into it is so free. There's no locks, no restrictions, anything like that. The only issue with that is Herald's going to be banned. So once Herald's banned, it's going to feel a lot like Fiendsmith without Moon. I know in Master Duel you don't have this problem, but in the TCG, Fiendsmith without Moon is you're just hoping to hard draw the Fiendsmith cards.
Right.
And it really does. It feels awkward and clunky. For me, I enjoy Azamina because it has the most seamless bridge between the two engines. Rod and Souls gets you into Diabellstar while establishing a Dark Magician end board, and then Diabellstar gets into Demod while establishing an Azamina end board.
Yeah.
So both
like that.
do their respective win conditions while bridging into each other, and that's why I love it so much. And there's bonuses like playing Impulse and things like that, where the other variants can't, and I think Impulse is just the craziest card in the game right now. Another variant I really want to experiment with that I haven't is Runic. And on my stream I mentioned that, but this variant of Runic is so far-fetched, I'm not going to dwell too much on it. The idea is you are playing literally the Wanted package with Gaze of Timaeus. That's it. And Rod.
It's going to be a hard sell to the community, I'll tell you that one.
I'm not going to like it. I said it on stream, like, oh man, it's going to get so much hate. I didn't dwell on it too much, though. But yeah, so those are kind of the best ways I would play Dark Magician. Shining Stark I like, but I don't like Shining Stark as Shining Stark Dark Magician. I almost want to see Shining Stark as Shining Stark.
Yeah, I've noticed.
That's it.
Yeah, I've seen a lot. I've seen a lot of your videos, and it seems like you're trying to separate them. I do love, though, that there is some legitimate synergy.
Oh, 100%.
Between them, because when Shining Stark initially came out, we were kind of nervous. It was like, okay, well, maybe they're going to say, forget about Dark Magician, and we're just going to give you guys Shining Stark support, and that's going to be the new Dark Magician, meta decks that you're going to get, or semi-competitive decks that you're going to get. But what you're saying is you're more against Primite, primarily because of the matchup, not necessarily because it doesn't do enough. It has a high floor, like you said. This one of the questions I wanted to ask you later was about ratios, but I noticed you're kind of playing 3 rods, or you're talking about playing 3 rods, right? Are you playing 3 rods on Rod's merit alone, or is it because we don't really have a normal summon? So like, if you were playing a Primite list, would you not play 3 rods?
Right. It's exactly that. Magician's Rod for me, what it now offers is, so it's very different because this is strictly based on the back of how you construct your list. For me, I play 3 Magician's Rod because Magician's Rod is now a 1-card seals by itself. Magician's Rod is a 1-card seals, so at the very least, if I open a hand with Rod and 4 hand traps, it's at least a Heretic Seals with 4 forms of hand traps, which I think is better than anything we've ever had. And the reason why I now play 3 Rod is because I have cut Illusion of Chaos to 1. I've cut Illusion of Chaos to 1, and the reason for it is everything Illusion of Chaos does, Demod does, but it does it better.
Sure.
Yeah. So the idea is if you go into Demod, you're able to search whatever Illusion of Chaos is searching you. In this case, it would be Rod technically. And the Rod would get you your spell and trap, whatever the case is. Or you'd have Rod already, so you'd get souls. And you wouldn't play into your Droll. You wouldn't play into whatever the case is. Control, Ash, whatever. Right?
Yeah.
So the idea, I feel like it's very... And Another thing is because I'm playing the Wanted package and a card like Deception at 2, because Deception is also a 1.5 card
Yeah.
to DMod, and the full Azamina package. So seeing Rod is essentially free tribute fodder. So you want to see Rod with as little resources as possible wasted to get to Rod, right? So I don't want to play Illusion of Chaos. I can search Rod off DMod, but there's better valuable things to search off DMod. For example, Gaze Right Away.
Yeah.
Or
now the new card, yeah.
Yeah, or the new card that's coming out now. So Rod is typically, yes, it's our only normal summon, but it's also a valuable piece if you build your deck for Rod to succeed. In Primite, you don't play one Rod. You only play one Rod because it's like, hey, if I don't see Ether Barrel, I'm going to normal summon Rod and do whatever Rod can get me at this juncture, right? But yeah, no, I've been enjoying 3 Rod a lot recently. And it's mainly based off the back of me building my decks to help Rod succeed.
Right.
As the help Rod get the most value from its normal summon.
Exactly. Right? Yeah. Which is not something we're used to. I'm slowly starting to see that vision because I've been a 1 Rod guy for a while now, and now I'm like, okay, well maybe it's not a terrible normal summon for us. It's not bad to open Rod, and then especially if you're really focusing on the Azamina engine, which I really like. Having 2 Rods in hand used to be a death sentence. But now you could potentially make some link plays while also maybe using that one as tribute fodder for Deception, something. At the end of the day, I think the biggest problem that I'm seeing with DM, especially post support, is keeping hand advantage up. Especially, I know you're kind of more leaning towards an IP Dragoon end board. So then you're going to need 2 discards because you're trying to use Dragoon's pop twice. So it's a little difficult to do that. That's why I think maybe utilizing Magician Souls to, get pluses off of any dead cards in your hand or something.
Yep.
That could definitely benefit, or if you have a continuous spell. If you're a Shining Sark guy, I do want to ask you if, hypothetically, because you've seen the Baron to Floor and Dispatter combo with the new support, right?
I believe so.
With Magistus Chorozo, and then you revive it back. You go Chorozo and DMG, Shining DMG into Baron, and then you use Gaze to summon Master of Chaos. Bring back the Chorozo, go Crimson Dragon, summon Dispatter. And it's really cool. And then you summon the Shining DM back that you banished, and it's a great combo. If you had Baron, do you think that you'd be more likely to use Shining Sarcophagus to do that combo?
I think so. Of course. So forgive me because I actually just downloaded Master Duel.
Okay, that's my finishing question, man. What do I have to do to get you to the to the Master Duel side?
If you saw my list right now that I'm rocking with Dark Magician and Duelist Cup, I would be exiled from the Discord server completely. But so I just downloaded Master Duel. I'm not too familiar with the ratios. What is Shifter at in Master Duel right now?
1.
It's at 1. Okay. Yeah. So for me, yes, if Baron the Floor was illegal in the TCG, I think that immediately raises the ceiling of Shining Sark. Even the niche interactions, I know you were experimenting with this a lot, is Baron popping the Dark Magician.
Right, yes.
Somebody else back, and you extend that way. I think that play is so disgusting.
Yeah.
So I love little interactions like that. So of course, if Baron was legal in the TCG, I think that definitely piques my interest for Shining Sark even more. Strictly off the back of getting that free advantage and generating that free advantage while establishing an Omni on the board. For me, something that I know when I was cooking with Shining Sark specifically, I really wanted to lean into Shifter as a strategy.
Yeah.
And for example, things like Necro Valley, things like Gravekeeper Inscription, things to completely shut out the graveyard, because all the best decks in the game, Yummy deal with the graveyard, Mitsurugi deal with the graveyard, Dragotail deal with the graveyard. So I was really trying to build Shining Sark to turn off the graveyard completely, and I think making Baron kind of gets away from that a little bit. But with Shifter at 1 here and in the Master Duel, I think you could absolutely make a case for playing Baron, and I would be very like, what's the opposite of reluctant? Very adamant on playing Shining Sark.
Yeah, and that's kind of my feeling. So I'm glad you feel that way, because I'm a big fan of Shining Sark, but I'm also a big fan of the end board and just how consistent it is, especially with Miasma. Just being able to end on an end board of like Dragoon, Dispatter, and and Baron. I think that's a sick end board. And let's do some rapid fire ratio questions and whether or not you play them. So, secrets or no secrets? This is a Loza question. No secrets? Why no secrets?
I used to swear by secret. I love secrets, by the way. I was a secrets truther. Some lists I would play up to 2. Now, every time this is strictly from testing and like my experience playing these lists, every time I see secrets, I get pissed off, and I'm never searching secrets. So you just by that logic, you just eventually cut it and you don't think about it, and I haven't needed it since.
Okay. How many Dark Magician, the Pharaoh's Servant?
3.
3? And we already said 3 Magician's Rod?
Yeah.
You really think 3 Magician's Rod? Okay. Are we playing Circle?
Oh,
0, 3, or 1?
0 or 3. If we're playing pure, it's 3. If we're not playing pure, I think we play 0.
Okay. I've actually, it's been interesting. I was pleasantly surprised. There have been times where I have benefited off of using Gaze during my opponent's turn with Circle in the field to summon Demod, and then adding a card to my hand, because I was saying hand advantage is something I've struggled to maintain while I'm testing. Adding a card to my hand, getting the banish, and then that extra card to my hand is discard fodder for like a second Dragoon pop or something.
Or it's follow up or whatever the case is. I love Circle. Is like I'll forever die on this hill. If I have to search, if my game plan is resolve Dark Magical Circle and setting up the triangle, and if I have to search Circle in that combo, I'm cooked.
Yeah.
I'm dead. Circle is a card you have to open. And I think you want to open, if you're playing Circle, you want to open it and you want to see it, which is why you play it at 3.
Yep, that's
a right.
That's that. I think we talked about that one time when you came to my stream, and I totally agree. I like Circle at 3. I'm in a tough spot now. I'm in a really tough spot because my heart wants to say try to keep doing the DM triangle, maybe, because I've actually had success doing the DM triangle currently in Master Duel, but now it's a little bit easier with the Pharaoh's Servant card, just to have an extra extender, an extra search. So I don't know. I'm really torn. How many servants are you playing?
Soul Servants?
Soul Servant.
2.
2 Soul Servant? You're not. Are you playing Dark Magician Girl?
Depends what list. I've recently cut her.
Recently cut her. The Azamina list, you're not playing her?
Azamina list, I've cut her, yes.
Okay. And the last question. How many Dark Magicians?
With the new support?
With the new Pharaoh's Servant, yeah. I've seen, just today alone, I've seen so many people talking about some crazy stuff. So let's see what you get to say.
Depends what list. If I'm playing pure, I'm playing 0 DMs.
In a pure DM list, you're playing 0 DM.
In a pure DM list, you're playing 0 DM.
Okay.
If you're playing a list where you can finagle your way, where you want to play seals, where you want to get maximum value off Mausoleum, you can play 1, you can get away with 1. I think we no longer play vanilla in this deck.
No vanilla DM.
One again.
Dang. So no pop Dragoons, huh?
That's the initial response I have. That's the initial thought, and especially because I'm not playing secrets anymore. I think that's even more of a merit not to play the vanilla anymore.
Yeah, and no Primite too. So I get that. I've seen a lot of people saying zero. That's what I was gonna say earlier. I've seen a lot of zeros. I don't know if I could go to zero. I'm sure I'll play it at zero and just try it out. I'm still on my one DM.
I'll tell you this. Currently I am playing at one and I am testing it at one. I think with how fresh these cards are, it would be wrong to have a period of time before these cards release and not test it at zero, if that makes sense.
Right. I think it's incumbent on anybody that cares, or even us as content creators for Dark Magician. It's very important that we try everything.
100%.
And we 100%. Give everything a fair shot, because there's certain ratios that hurt my heart. There's certain cuts that hurt my heart. But if it's for the best, it's for the best. You just got to live with it.
When I made the decision to cut Illusion of Chaos a few weeks after buying the QCR, it hurt my soul too much. It hurt my soul too. Just seeing 2 Illusion of Chaos QCRs in my binder.
Just sitting there.
I had 2 Star Dragoons for a long time. I eventually cut one of them, so I'm playing 1 Dragoon in the extra. And I'm 1 Starlight in the binder.
Yeah, I know what you mean, man. Well, last thing I wanted to really talk to you about before I hit you with the hard question. I saw that you have this new website, Game Set Matchy. Yeah. And I've seen it. I went on it a couple times, and I mean it. I'm really impressed. I'm gonna probably get one of those playmats. What gave you that idea? How did you come up with it? How did you commission? Because I've wanted to do stuff like that, but I never had the guts to actually do it.
So I didn't have the guts to do it. The thought was, when I hit 5,000 subscribers, I made a playmat, a one-time limited edition playmat that says MatchieYGO 5,000 subscriber special or whatever, and it had Dark Magician. I made the design, and I said, okay, I went to a supplier and I got these things printed. Excuse me. Sorry. I got these things printed and they got delivered to my house. I had about 5 of them. When I showed my live stream these playmats, these guys went crazy. I only ended up giving away 2 of them on the playmat, on the live stream. 3 of them. I gave away 3 of them on the live stream. And everyone kept messaging me, hey, can I buy it? Can I buy it? Can I buy it? Can I buy it? So I said, okay, if there's this much interest on a live stream, that live stream didn't do too well either. If there's that much interest in a live stream, there has to be more interest. So I made the Dark Paladin art, and I said, okay, I will commission and order 15 of these. So I ordered 15 Dark Paladin mats and 10 of my 5,000 subscriber special. But I didn't. So in the Dark Magician Discord, I asked the moderator, I'm like, hey, can I list these up for sale? And they told me, no, I can't list them up. So I said, whatever. Created a website using Shopify, and I threw them up. And I said, if they sell, they sell. If they don't, I'm going to just give them away on next live stream, at videos, whatever, subscriber count. And these things sold insanely well. I was so shocked. I'm so thankful for my community.
That's awesome.
Of them were my friends. Obviously, there were playmats that I saw. I said, name. I'm like, oh, okay.
My wife was my first viewer, man. I get it.
Yeah. So those did really well, and I had no more. So what I did was I began working on a new design. I don't commission the designs. I do the designs myself. I try to, at least.
Really? They look really good.
Thank you. So I do them myself, and I just finished and ordered a new set of playmat with a new design. So that's going to be coming in probably my next video that I'm going to upload. I'm going to be using that to showcase the design. And just sporadically updating the store, and pretty much the idea is 100% of profits are going back into the channel. I'm not pocketing a single penny from these. With the playmats that just sold, I bought a new computer, the one I'm using now, and
that's great.
They won't pay for the computer,
right?
I'm need to invest in a new microphone, a new camera, and software to actually make these videos significantly better. So that's the goal. And once we get there, then we'll figure out what to do with any excess funds.
No, that's great, man. I'm really happy you had success with it. Maybe that'll be a kick in the butt for me to do something like that, because I really like it. I don't know if I could commission them myself though, because they look really good. The 5,000 special one, is that the one that's like the black and white DM coming out of the circle?
Yeah.
Yeah, that one looks really good.
I can't reach them.
Yeah, no, they look amazing. I'm definitely gonna get one. So I'm really happy for you. I'll put that link in the description if anyone's interested. Game Set Matchy. It's a really nice looking site, and they're really nice looking playmats. So good for you. Last question, man, before I let you go. This is the hard one, okay? Who has it better to play Dark Magician? Master Duel or the TCG? Let me qualify the question a little bit. At least what I think is qualifying to the question. You tell me if I'm missing something. From my estimation, ignoring branded for now, the benefits to playing in the TCG are Secret Village of the Spellcasters and Dark Magician of Chaos Max, the Ritual Floodgate. I think it's called Dark Magician of Chaos Max. And then we have in the TCG, we have Baron, like we already spoke about, and of course the GOAT, Predaplan Verte Anaconda.
So, for me, like I said, I just downloaded Master Duel. I'm having so much fun playing this thing.
Which
I
thing?
think Master Duel
in general. Oh, okay.
Yeah, currently. Let me yes.
You hear that, boys? We made it.
I think post support TCG gets it because post support you're able to make village in a combo for free, and it's disgusting. Every deck can do it. Yummy DM can do it. Azmina DM can do it. Magistus, I believe, can do it as well. Magistus DM can do it. All these combos get into village, and turning off a third of your card pool, turning off a third of your opponent's card pool is disgusting.
Oh yeah.
In Master Duel, though, right now, I think the idea that you have Verte, you have Moon, you have Baron, so many generic end board pieces that propel DM, right? Because it's what we mentioned at the start of the podcast, where it's a lot of these decks are now using their engines to create generic end boards.
Right.
And I know DM doesn't do that as well as other decks, but there are enough generic end board pieces that you can take advantage of.
Yeah.
So I think Master Duel is better in that regard. The other thing that Master Duel has that TCG doesn't is that it's a best of one. So if you, like, let's say you open the nuts and you get the triangle with Circle, Eternal Soul, even Dragon Knight, or whatever the case is. If you get your end board out, there's very few decks that can blind going second deal with that without a side deck.
Right.
Now, obviously, with a side deck, it's a different equation, right? TCG has a side deck. I think as far as how many matches you're going to win, one or the other, Master Duel, you're going to win significantly more matches because of that reason alone. So, Master Duel.
Yeah. I will say, I don't have a lot of TCG experience. I've done I did a video on TCG combos where I learned a lot, and I was kind of testing them on stream. I will say, even post support, and I made a video about this, there's a lot of people that are not playing Verte in Master Duel. Like the Master Duel community Dark Magician players are saying post support, we don't need Verte. I was making a video where I said, I think Verte is still a key card. I think it's still worth playing Ref, because something that I've noticed, not only is the fact that obviously you get a 2-pop Dragoon, but getting that DM sent to the graveyard off of Ref is actually really usable. I've really benefited off of it a lot.
I think especially in, like you mentioned, post DMOD, because we lose access to that initial DM, having Verte as a card that single-handedly dumps the second one to grave, turning on the rest of your Dark Magician engine is really important. I think more than anything, Verte being just a generic link to that slaps a Dragoon on the board, I wouldn't even say as I wouldn't even approach it from the perspective of, hey, I'm going to build my deck for Verte to be viable. I would more so build the deck and approach it from the viewpoint of, hey, I'm going to play DMod. I'm going to extend like a lunatic. My opponent better have 4 hand traps to stop me, and if he does have 4 hand traps, I'm ending on a Verte.
Right.
And I think that's the approach that I would approach it if I was playing Verte.
Yeah.
Obviously, I don't have enough gems to craft Verte yet on Master Duel, so bear with me, and we'll get there eventually.
Right. We'll get there. Yeah, I mean, that's what I always say. Some people are like, oh, ha ha ha, Dragoon pass. And it's like, well, the fact that I'm Dragoon passing through 2 or 3 hand traps, my opponent's starting off the duel with 3 cards in their hand. Having that Verte as insurance, as a backup, has always been a huge plus. And I think initially it's going to continue to pay dividends on Master Duel when DMod comes out. But we'll see. It'll be interesting. And I like a little friendly competition between Master Duel and TCG. I do wish that there was more overlap, because I do feel like there's a disconnect between the TCG and Master Duel people in terms of the deck list. But I learned from you guys, and hopefully vice versa.
Likewise, 100%.
Yeah,
100%. Dude, you there was a 60 card movement, man. That was all you. You inspired that.
Yeah, man. I'm happy about that. I'm happy people saw it, and yeah, I'm glad. That one, it's a feather for me.
One thing before we end on back of Verte. I think the one thing I want to say is that Verte is going to be predominantly a very deck building heavy decision. Is if your list can play with Ref and Red Eyes in the main deck.
Yeah.
Right? If you can really
afford the bricks.
Right? Or if you're playing 60, like I could see Verte being viable in 60 because you're not going to see those cards as often, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, like I mentioned prior, man, you have inspired so many people. I think the one thing that is significantly underlooked as a content creator is how much pull you actually have without realizing it.
Yeah.
Like for like, I don't want to sound not grateful or anything like that, but when I see a video, to me it's a number, and it's so hard for me to rationalize that these are individual people you're talking to, and it's mind-blowing that you have even a little bit of influence, right? Let alone that much when it comes to sharing your ideas and sharing anything like that. So I know, like, it's not easy for any content creator, big or small. I just want to let you know that you're doing an unbelievable job from your end, Matt. So
thank you, man. I appreciate it. Likewise, I totally look up to you. I think you do an amazing job. I agree with the sentiment that as content creators, you don't realize it, big or small. You know, it hit me maybe last year. I got a comment where I realized, wow, somebody is spending money on something because of something I said.
Yeah.
You know, somebody's buying gems for Master Duel to craft this deck because of something I said. So, I mean, that gives you some responsibility on your shoulders, and I use that as motivation to keep grinding, to keep testing, to keep doing these things, and learn from people like you and the amazing people in the Dark Magician community, just so that we can keep providing good content. I mean, it sounds cliche, but we do it for the people that watch. You know?
Yeah,
that's the truth of it.
Another thing is, I do it for me too. If I have an idea, it's also, I think, another thing that's significantly undervalued is how much I take away. I'm sure you can attest to this. Is also how much I take away from my comments and how much I learn from my comments.
Yeah,
I'll post something. How many ideas I've had sparked based off comments that I've received is unbelievable. So it goes both ways, man.
100%. Yeah, I've learned a lot from the comments. Sometimes they're infuriating, but sometimes they're very educational. You know, you take the good with the bad.
Some live rent free in my head still. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, it's hard to shake them, man. I feel you. But anyways, Matchie, you're amazing. I really appreciate you. I truly mean it. Not just, trying to be nice. You really do a great job. Keep up the great work. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me about this. I learned a lot just in this conversation alone. So thank you, man.
Thank you for having me, dude. Like I said, dude, you're a pillar in this community, and I don't think the theory and the progression of this archetype is where it is without you. So
same to you, man. Likewise.
Keep doing your thing, man. And yeah, let's 2026 is the year of the spellcaster.
Oh yeah, man. We are gonna it's Dark Magician's year. MatchieYGO, guys. I'm gonna link his channel in the description below, as well as Game Set Matchie if you guys want to play Matt. Till next time, Habibis, peace and love.
Thank you.